Welcome to the Steven Cimino Says Boom podcast, issue number 17.
Bomb!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to issue 17 of the Steven Cimino Says Boom podcast. We've been going and we ain't stopping yet. Always with my co-host, Steve Says Boom, and below us, Otto, always crawling up from the grotto, 3 men in a basement. Otto, what do people need to hear?
They need to hear this right now. You all need to remember to always like our videos. Comment, please. Let us know what you think about it. The comments have been fantastic. Please share. This is comic book history, comic book nostalgia that you need to know about. Subscribe to the channel. You're only going to hear this right here on the Steven Cimino Says Boom podcast. And more importantly, on behalf of these two gentlemen and myself, thank you very much for watching. This has been a great ride.
Okay, Otto, you inspired this issue because on your little assistant editor's month,
Yes,
you
right.
threw,
right.
yes,
you let me come back. You let me come back.
Yeah, we let you come back, but you threw in an X-Men. What was it? X-Men 107?
109.
109, yeah, with Vindicator.
Yes, Vindicator.
Okay,
yeah.
because you were a little nervous to do that because you thought me and Steve were going to bite you because we
I
hate
had to
the
know my
X-Men.
facts.
Not necessarily hate the X-Men. It just wasn't as into it as some of the other stuff. As me and Steve, the Defenders, the Hulk, Thor, we were for the heavy hitters. The Avengers, they were always the D team, right, Steve?
That's right.
Okay. Okay, but this time in this issue, we're gonna throw. I'm gonna present. I'm gonna do a comic that means a lot to me in the X-Men franchise. Now, why this issue is very important to me is I wasn't collecting X-Men at all. I was doing during my collecting phase, and I got a little bit into them kind of later in the 170 range. And for some reason I got into Colossus all of a sudden. I think it might have to do with that Marvel 2-in-1 annual number 3, the one versus Champion. Remember that when they fight Champion, they all
Yes, annual 7.
Annual 7. I'm sorry. Yeah, the one versus Champion, and Colossus got his butt kicked, and I was a little mad about that. And then I don't know, I kind of got into Colossus. But this issue, it hit me because I got into it later in life that I was actually seeing a girl, and I went through some heartbreak in this. And then when I read this issue, it totally touched me, and I felt it, and it was, oh my God, I related to this. And now it obviously the legendary love story of Colossus, Peter Rasputin, and Kitty Pryde. And they were always the young people on the team, and they had this strong relationship. But Steve, what happened to Colossus in the Secret Wars? Because this is one of the issues that was an offshoot of the Secret Wars saga. But since you tell us what happened to Colossus, his little private thing.
Well, funny enough, he got injured, and he was in this little village of weird little aliens. And I remember whenever they spoke, it was like a series of code. You couldn't quite work out what they were saying. But, he had this little girl, and she's trying to help him and, massage his chest. And, suddenly he's a little goo-goo for Gaga. And he falls for her. Yeah. And just goes to show you, but he can't take those young guys up to a different planet.
And if you remember, that girl was first with Johnny Storm, but Johnny kind of played her off after. Maybe, I hate to say it, maybe he chewed and screwed, and then Colossus was a little upset with that.
At that time, Johnny was, if I remember correctly, he was into Alicia.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
We won't go into that right now.
Yeah. So this issue was an offshoot where Colossus, who was seen in a deep, deep relationship with Kitty Pryde, actually fell for this alien woman. And I don't know if it had something to do with her healing powers or what. That's something that you don't know, but he fell for her and he gave up his whole life for her. So what this story is, it was the offshoot of that where he comes back to Earth and now he has to face Kitty Pryde. And this is one of Chris Claremont's dialogue. He's good on dialogue, and sometimes he does a lot of dialogue, but I held on to every word. And Chris, if you're out there and you ever see this, when a young John who was heartbroken with a girl read this, I didn't read books or anything. I read comics, and this is the one that got me good. Let's present the issue, Mr. Otto from the Grotto, X-Men 183. Now, why I love this and why I got it was because obviously I was always collecting fights. I was into Colossus and I always loved the Juggernaut. How could you pass up that fight when you got Wolverine and Nightcrawler back there just watching? And I'm like, I thought this was just going to be an action-packed comic of just seeing a good fight, but this totally blew my mind. And like I said, it's when a young John who was heartbroken needed somebody to help because I had nobody to talk to other than my comic books. And now the comics talked back to me. Okay, here we go. Now, first off, I'm not a big John Romita Jr. fan. Like, I'm not that big, but his art with Dan Green's inks just worked so perfect for this. There were nice, clear panels and art. And I needed something like this. If it was all abstract or sketchy or the way he draws today, there would have been no way I could get into it. It's a very soft, very innocent drawing, and it fits perfectly at the story. And here we see right now. Did you want to say something, Steve? I was going to say about the art.
No, I mean, I know what you mean because these days it's like everyone's a very square robot.
You could see. Oh yeah, this was awesome, and I love it because if you read the dialogue when they're talking and they're talking in each other's in their mind at the same time, it is so perfectly said. And you have Colossus right there, Peter saying, "Oh, a lovely day, sure is." And then they're talking about how do I tell her, and she's figuring what is wrong with him? Why is he doing that? And they're kind of beating around the bush, but look right there. In the first panel, right at the bottom, the last thing he says on that page. Wait, go back for a second, Otto. Go back for a second. He says it right out because you know how Peter is so honorable. He'll always say the truth. He just says, "I met someone else. We fell in love." Wow, he came right out and he said it. Okay, now Otto, turn the page. First off, look at the clouds, the water. I mean, it's just so beautiful. And you see what she says. Look at the panel from a distance. This is great storytelling that fits the dialogue. She just goes, "Oh." And you can feel like the tension and the loneliness and the innocence of this. I don't know. I just related to it. And Peter's finding it hard to tell her. And she's playing tough, saying like, "Yeah, yeah, okay." But she's saying like in her mind, she's like, "Anyone I know?" And he's like, "No, she's from a native planet." And and everything that she did, Kitty did for him too. And you can see like, look at the angst in her face. Like, this is great storytelling. You see Peter, he's so distant from her, and you see the agony from her. And she's just like, I love the third panel when he's describing her, and he says, "As beautiful as the dawn, as gentle as a spring rain." And then she says, "Poetry from a man who said he never had the words." Like, oh, you could tell she loves him so much. Okay, next page, Otto. I love that. Now I hate to say that first panel kind of reminded me of myself. When you're in your room and your emotions are going on. This is one of my first girlfriends. I don't know. It's like we didn't even really talk, but like just the tears mustering up. And I love how Peter is so honest with her, but it's so painful to her. And if you can read through these, I recommend anybody who reads this. Just the dialogue is so beautiful, so innocent, and yet Peter is so honest that to the point where it kills her. And so he's just telling her that, like, you know, he can't be with her anymore. He feels bad. And, you know, those are his feelings, and that's the way it's going to be. Okay, Otto, next page.
You got it.
Oh. I love it. Like the next panel too, she's just like, she's trying to like feel good about it, you know, like, okay, you know, what am I going to do? And she gets up and she goes, but I love the fourth panel. Like, it's just like loss of love and loneliness. You see when she says, see ya, and she's just walking far off there. Oh, I just think the panel and the dialogue with the art is so, you know, like I said, I'm not a big John Romita Jr. fan, but he hit this one out of the park. I think it's the best stuff that he's ever done. Go ahead, Otto.
No, I think the emotion along with the colors, the pinks and the blues and the greens, especially in this first page, the contrasting style of it, you know, and the heartfelt story really adds a lot to it. And, you know, that's, you know, Danny Green right there, just doing that right. And I think that really sets the tone for everything. The pink and the red is, you know, your emotions and you know what? I've been there, man. Trust me. So, no.
So I edited some of these parts. There's a story going on in the back. The back is a backstory. Rogue is in this, and she's trying to prove herself. And I think Storm is the leader of the X-Men now at this time, and she has her mohawk.
Yes.
So go ahead. The next page, Otto.
Yeah.
This is awesome. She goes to see Magic. This is Peter's sister. Look at, like, this is that fourth panel was me in your bed, twisting and turning. You know what I mean? Like, but listen,
that
I'm like,
song is on constant rewind.
Oh God,
it's on constant rewind. It's playing every hour.
Steve, you got to understand. I know it's hilarious, but I was feeling that at the time when I read that. It was like, oh, it hit me so perfectly. And it's like, oh my God, I was doing that. And I felt for Kitty Pryde. I felt for the pain, because here you want to be with somebody. I'm only 13 years old and all that stuff. And you want to be with this girl and she doesn't want to be with you. And it was the first time I kind of feel that type of emotional pain. And that's what I felt for her too. And then you can see, like, look at I love like, she finally, you know, Kitty's tough, but in the third panel, you see she just breaks. And then no dialogue needed in the last two panels. Magic goes over to her and they hug. That's what I needed, Steve. I needed you. Where were you? And Chris Claremont and John Romita Jr. give me the love. I needed you and nothing. Go ahead, Otto, you have something to say?
Oh, nothing. Hey, man.
Okay.
Go to the next panel.
Yeah. Okay. And basically, the next page you see, Wolverine tells Colossus, like, to come, we're going to get a beer and we can talk about that. And then Nightcrawler wants to join them. And here you see Kitty, she wants to leave. She needs to get out of there. And she talks to Storm. And she's just saying, I can't be here around this. I get it. I got to get out of here. Okay, go ahead. Next page,
Yep,
Otto.
You got it. I just want to ask, did you guys like this version of Storm? I personally did. I love the Morlock fight. That's one of my favorite issues.
Well, didn't she do that to kind of what was her reasoning? I remember Kitty didn't like the Mohawk.
The whole Mohawk thing was just to revamp her look. I think she really, I don't remember why she did it, but again, it was, you know, the Morlock issue where she, you know, fights Callista is one of my favorite books of all time. And I like this version of Storm. I mean, you've got the newer look of her, and I don't know. I thought it was really neat for the time.
And it lasted for a while. She was that way for years.
Yeah.
She stayed that way for years.
Were you indifferent about that, or was it just something that you were?
It was. You know, she was an X-Men. I never really cared.
Yeah.
I hate to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, we'll move on.
Okay. And this is great. You know, she gives her a pep talk, but look at the last four panels. Look at, like, the emotion and, like, with the panels moving, that tells a story right there. This is perfect storytelling and art, sequential art. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. And like I said, I don't like Romita's sketchiness. This Dan Green gave him a smooth, beautiful art. Like, you know, it was very clear and it's very sincere, and it fits this story. And as you see, Kitty's got to leave. Okay, next page. Okay, we go to Monahan's. So Logan takes Colossus to Monahan's, and he wants to talk about, like, open up to his problems and all this stuff. Tell me what's going on. Why you doing this and all that stuff. And he's trying to talk some sense into Peter. Okay, next panel. Page. Okay, here you see what's going on at the bar, and Wolverine's having drinks and talking to him, and he's trying to tell him that maybe you weren't of the right sound mind and stuff. He goes, you have to understand, Kitty did a lot for you, and you guys were very serious. You're breaking up with her because you found another girl all of a sudden. He goes, and how deep? They were going to get married too. They were so deep into each other. And Wolverine, who is experienced with so many loves and stuff, he's telling him, maybe you need to think about this more from what you're doing. And Colossus is getting a little drunk and stuff. And he's just saying, you always say that you know what's going on. He goes, you don't know me. You don't. Next page. Here's awesome. So you see Wolverine, he's talking, and he gets a whiff. And you see in the second panel, he's like, whoa. And he's like, I know that scent. He's looking. And then he sees a big Steve-looking guy with red hair over there talking to some.
Yeah, not quite Juggernaut level.
Yeah, right, it's Kane Marco. But this is what makes Wolverine so awesome. Chris Claremont was the best Wolverine writer of all time. As we know, he established the guy who he is. But Wolverine sees this, and Wolverine can be a prick. And Wolverine wants to beat the shit out of Peter for all this stuff. But he can't do that. He has to be the mature guy. So Peter being a little drunk and all that stuff. Look at Wolverine in that last panel. He's picking him up, right? And he just said, on your feet, Peter. He goes, you need some air. It looks like he's trying to help him. Next page. You see him. He's like, and suppose I don't want to leave. He's like, hey, Peter. Wolverine's kind of, maybe pushed him a little bit, made it a little bit more. And he said, and you see Colossus being a little tipsy, drops his beer on somebody. Look on the third panel, the wrong guy. He says, get out of here, punk. So he pushes him pretty hard. He goes flying through this door. While he has to transform, and he's so pissed off. He's like, you could have killed me and all that stuff. Look at that. That last panel is freaking awesome. So you say you got a drunk Peter ready to fight, pissed off that happened. Okay, next page.
God, I hope that bar owner has got his insurance paid off.
Wait. Don't, that comes into play later, Otto.
Okay.
So Nightcrawler is like, I don't know. They don't know. He doesn't know who this guy is. He's like, we got to save him. And Wolverine holds him by the arm, and he goes, no. He goes, let him take off some steam. And he goes like, duck. And Wolverine in the third panel is like, let's just watch and see what happens. Wolverine knows who he is, but Nightcrawler and Colossus doesn't know who he is because he knew his scent. So then you got the battle. They're fighting each other. Colossus is doing pretty good. And the bottom panel is actually another sub-story. It's another subplot that's going in the story. And that's if you look all the way there on the right, that's the Black Queen. She was actually there with Juggernaut. You'll find that out in later issues. But okay, Otto. Okay, so they're just jarring and fighting, and Colossus is saying in his head, he's like, Jesus Christ, who the hell is this guy? Jesus. He's like, here's Colossus thinking that he's drunk and stuff, but he's hitting him pretty hard, but he's like, whoa. So then you see Juggernaut right here. This is classic. Colossus breaks off a thing. Juggernaut's like, you got that? I got this. Next page, Otto. Oh, it's so good. He takes the whole bar, and there's where he says it right there. And he says, he finally screams out his name like he would, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Whatever he's saying, and he slams them with the whole freaking bar. Everybody's all scared. They all run for cover. And I love what he said. I love that. Check that out. He goes, you did pretty good, kid. And he goes, but you're not my level yet. And so drunken Peter, so pissed off, he's like, still got more in him. He's got spunk. He's a hoss. Okay, next page, Otto. Okay, goes flying and flying through, and then they go brawling it out again. And then now Logan, Nightcrawler's like, what do we do? He goes, that, we got to help him out. And I love Wolverine goes, you got any suggestions? Like, I don't know what the hell to do. And then there goes frickin' flying out of they're brawling. And I love what friggin' Juggernaut coming out, what he says. He goes, that sucker was my Sunday punch. He hit him so hard, hit him with the big thing. Okay, Otto, you got a knocked out Colossus, so what does he do? The coup de grace. Just destroys the entire bar, throws it on top of him. Oh my God, so awesome. And K. Marco always had a great freaking attitude. And what he says here, I gotta read because it's just so cool what he says. And when he comes out of this stuff, he goes, top that fella if you can. And then you got Wolverine saying, not too shabby, Muscles. He goes, I missed you clowns? How come? Just lucky, I guess. You looking for a piece of the action? And Wolverine's like, nope. Smart play, shrimp. He goes, you tell the kid from me, he did himself proud. He's got guts and heart, and he throws a mean right cross. So good. Next page, Otto. And Otto, this right here, he goes, but if him or you or any of the X-Men get in my way again, even by accident, I won't be so nice. And Wolverine says, neither will me. And he goes, this is for the owner to fix the place. He throws him he throws him the money to give. And then you see everybody lifting it up, and Colossus is pissed off. And he's just like, get away from me. He goes, where's Juggernaut? And he goes, why did you do that? He goes, you were supposed to you knew that was Juggernaut, and you were supposed to back me up. And Wolverine goes, yeah, that's right. That's what we're supposed to do, right? And he's like, but what you did to Kitty Pryde when she backed you up, because right here he tells him about the Morlocks. I don't know if you remember, but she was willing to marry Caliban. And to have Peter live, she was going to marry Caliban and be with him for life, because she was going to sacrifice herself for him, and for him. And that's what Wolverine wanted to teach him. She goes, she was willing to go to the line for you. And when one little thing came up, one little obstacle came between you and her, you gave up and you didn't go over the obstacle. You went for the girl and you forgot it and you got rid of everything. He goes, because she was willing, she was old, as young as she was mature enough to want to go, because she loved him, to go to the end with him. And it was just to teach him a lesson. Yeah, we're supposed to back up each other. And that's what she did for you, but you didn't do it for her. And so that's basically the end of the story. And it goes to, and what I love, it's like he taught him a lesson the hard way. Because like I said, Wolverine wanted to give him the beating, but Colossus didn't. Once again, to wrap this up for me, just the heartbreak in this. And I loved how Wolverine kind of, taught him a lesson. And Colossus kind of saw a little the error of his ways, but he made mistakes. But like I said, I love this issue because I needed it at a time. Okay, Steve, your turn. Throw it in there.
It's really strange that you pull this issue out of your hat. This was the first X-Men issue that I ever read.
Oh God!
And we have completely two different reactions.
Wow.
One, I was incredibly immature at this time, naive and inexperienced in anything. I hadn't even seen a girl, never mind talk to one at this time. So when I first read the issue, I just thought it was just like all that mamby-pamby stuff was going on, and it didn't mean anything to me because I had nothing to put it into context to.
Okay.
Now, looking at the issue for the first time in, 30 years, I'm like, oh, wow, this, I know. I learned. I understand what's going on there, and I take my hat to Chris. I had read The Secret Wars. And at that time, I've mentioned before, I decided to expand my subscription list. And many people had been telling me at the comic shop, oh, if you're not getting the X-Men, you're not getting the best part of the Marvel Universe. You're not. It's the top-selling book every month, la, 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 la. It's just going on and on and on. So one day, I'm in the comic shop, I'm like, All right, we'll start with this issue. I
Wow.
take it home. I'm reading it. First thing I'm struck by is the wordiness of Chris Claremont. I'm also struck with the slow pacing. Most of the stuff that I had been reading had been a little older and a little bit more faster paced. You know, there was more action going on. So for me, it was like, okay. And secondly, I didn't really know Wolverine very well. So I was like, well, what's this little runt? Who does he think he is? You know, I was like, this Colossus guy could belt the crap out of him. I don't understand what's going on here. And this was also my first exposure to Juggernaut. I had never seen Juggernaut before.
Oh.
But I do remember thinking, wow, I love this guy. I wonder if he's ever fought the Hulk. Okay, I guess I'll find out one day. I know you're laughing, John, because you know you already got this years of history behind you. But I was a newbie. I didn't know anything yet. So I'm reading the issue and I'm trying. I'm reading it because all I've ever heard so far is that if I'm not reading the X-Men, I'm not really a fan of the Marvel Universe. You're not getting all this other mutant stuff. There's a big part of the Marvel Universe that I was not privy to. So I read the issue, but I'm not getting the context of Kitty because I didn't read any of the other X-Men issues. Okay. I really enjoyed the fight. And I remember after reading the issue, I was like, oh, shall I carry on with this? Or shall I not? Can I afford to add this, to, you know, permanently? And then I was like, all right, let me try. So issue 183 was the first issue that I signed up for. You know, issue 184 on was, you know, I was going to be, you know, getting it on. And I remember I should have stopped at issue, I think it's 186, where Storm and Forge are just talking and mumbling. And I read that issue and I was like, wow, this isn't the Avengers, is it? Okay.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Like, whatever. Needless to say, I carried on. I tried to go up. I went up to issue 200. And in the end, I know Otto, I'll do you proud. I read all the way up to...
Oh, I was long gone.
I read up to issue 279.
Really? I would have thought you would have stopped right around 250-ish. But all right, I'll take that.
I went all the way up there. So, you know, I should get some points. I should get some medals.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Some of the stuff that I was reading, okay? Yeah. The stupid baby Cable and Nimrod and the... But anyway, so for me, it's fascinating to see those pages again after so many years. One thing that struck me is I really do enjoy that artwork. I forgot that he was that good. I agree with you. The line work is so much cleaner. He's not drawing like a block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's just so weird that you would pull that issue out. And that's my first issue. That's the issue. If you had said out my issue's 182, I'd go, oh, okay. Well, I don't know anything about it. You just chose the issue that was my first. So yeah, again, it was my first issue. My first introduction to Juggernaut. I couldn't wait to find out more about Juggernaut, and then I had to. Later on in Thor, that's when I was like, oh wow, yeah. And then of course, years later on, I bought the Hulk 172, and all my questions were answered.
Yeah.
So I love it. So yeah, I didn't get the complexities because I think in many ways, John, you were far more. Even though you were younger, somehow you were more mature than me. You seem to have gotten, you went on that little hamster, thing of adulthood a lot faster than me. I was still off in the clouds, so yeah, I didn't get it the same as you.
But the funny thing is, Steve, I don't know if I was clear too. I saw a few X-Men issues too, but that was the first issue that I ever bought of the X-Men 2. Not off the rack though. I got it in a back issue bin because I would never get them. I went up. I didn't go. I think I got up to 190 before I called it quits on that. I didn't go that much further because I got to admit though, those stories, when I look back at them now, they were almost like teen romance, like, because there was a lot of relationships, and especially at that time in the X-Men, that I can see why kids like that. And hell, like I said, it helped me out. Otto, what do you think? Were you reading at this time?
Oh yeah, I was reading this off the rack, and
wow.
One of my favorite issues is X-Men. Actually, if you were to say to me, Otto, what is your favorite X-Men cover of all time? Probably cover is X-Men 102. That cover enamored me as a kid. Nothing can stop the Juggernaut, and there's Colossus in the cave. And then to buy that in the back issues, when I was a kid, and then to read this, it was just phenomenal. And, it would make sense that they didn't recognize who Juggernaut was. He doesn't have the suit. He doesn't have his helmet. He doesn't have that. But for Wolverine to do that. But I will tell you now, in retrospect, the teenage love story, I've been there before. I kind of mentioned that REO Speedwagon play. I don't remember who the girl was who broke my heart, but I'll never forget it was an REO Speedwagon song that played over and over and over in my head on the radio that night.
You can't fight this feeling anymore, right?
Oh God, it was terrible. My God. But my point is, on the flip side of it, and I'm sure all of us have been in a situation where we have had guys, friends of ours, who have just needed to go out and blow off some steam, right? Like, you got to take them out and do whatever, not necessarily push them into the Juggernaut, but just take them out, let them vent, maybe poke the bear a little bit, get them. And I think that is really important, right? And that shows the age difference of Wolverine to Colossus, where it says, all right, buddy, you screwed up. You got some things on your mind. Let's go out. Let's blow off some steam. Let's not go fight the Juggernaut, and it wasn't one of these things where, had it have gotten really, really bad, do I think Wolverine and Nightcrawler probably would have intervened? Sure. But I think it is what it is. And to me, it's really two stories. It's the love story that I could relate to as a child, being upset that my girl broke up with me or you made the wrong decision. And then later on in life, having one of your buddies or even you being taken out to blow off some steam to
wait a minute, Otto.
Yeah.
How old are you when this issue comes out?
This was
this is 83.
I was 12. No, this is
12.
This is 86. This is 86. So I was 15. So if this
are you sure it's 86?
It's God,
no, it's earlier.
83. What? It's 67.
Yeah, it's 83.
Is it 83?
1984. 84.
All right. So yeah, right there. So 12. I was born 71.
Wait a minute. You'd already had a girlfriend and broken up?
Oh yeah, she broke my heart. She was a year older than me too.
What is it with you guys in America? When did you start dating? Like 9 or 10? What is this?
6 to 7
should have been.
I mean, that's it.
This should have been the Valentine's episode.
Right. Oh,
yeah. When I'm reading this, I'm 15. I haven't even spoken to a girl yet.
Oh God.
Oh my God, Otto. I mean, Steve, come on.
Oh my God.
Steve,
that's a whole other adult Scott.
This comic means so much to me. Remember I told you in past episodes that I made a binder of all my greatest comics ever? John Cimino's greatest Marvel? This comic was in there because I needed it so bad. And like I said, when you're a teenager, you're kind of young and like you're embarrassed about some of the stuff. You can't talk to your friends about it, No, so I had to talk to who were my true friends were the comics. And so I just, like I said, it felt so good. And I felt for Kitty Pryde and her crying and her trying to be like, okay, I got to get up and go on. I got to get out of here. It helped me. And just so you know, that girl, years later, she wanted me. I didn't want nothing to do with her. I said, read X-Men 183, honey. Yeah. Then you'll see what I'm all about.
Well, I
swear to God I did. She had no idea what I was talking about.
This has been a very educational show. I didn't realize that I was dealing with two studs.
Oh, wow.
Getting out there.
When you were in
fever. God's sakes.
When you were in 6th grade making out with a 7th grader, it was a big deal, so.
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah. So anyway, tales from stories. I'll leave it at that. This has been a lot of fun.
So hey, we'd love to know for anybody out there, put in the comments your love stories, a comic that meant a lot to you, that that maybe you needed to talk to. You had so I never told Chris Claremont, and I don't think I ever will. I'm too scared.
When this show goes up, we should have like little hearts popping up,
The Broken Heart special.
For you two guys, I was still a robot. Oh God.
Oh God. All right, so everybody, we'd like to thank you for this issue. We got a lot more great stuff and guest stars coming up, so stay tuned. And Steve, any last words?
You know what? This has been a real fun episode for me. I've learned a lot about, not only that, but you guys, and John, I really thank you for bringing this issue up. Boom.
All right.
Okay. Boom it is.
Okay.
That was fantastic.
Awesome. Let me see.
Oh God.
So that was the first issue you ever bought, huh? Me too, of X-Men.
Yeah. Hey, it's really freaky.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Are you sure that?
Swear to God.
We have to check our ancestry. Are you English? I don't know.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. Like I said, I saw some other issues, but I never bought an X-Men. That was the first one. It was a back issue, but that was the first back issue, first X-Men comic I ever bought. Yeah, all that. That was a great episode.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
What
year were you born? What year were you born?
I was born in '67.
All right, gotcha. So you got a couple years. All right, I was 71.
I was 73. 73.
Yeah, so we're in the same area, but that was it. But yeah, 6th grade, I was dating a 7th grader. I was a cool kid, right? And like we made out for the first time, and like she had braces, and it was like something out of a John Hughes movie. Like she had braces, I had braces. I don't even know if it was like real making out. I don't even remember. But I remember she broke up with me, like, I don't know, all that time. And I would in my bed sobbing because I was like, oh, I was gonna marry this girl. She was gonna love me forever. In 6th grade.
Well,
how about this?
You guys are way more advanced, because I remember my mom began to panic when I was 18 and I hadn't spoken to anyone yet. So she tried to set me up with someone at her office, and she tried to trick me. She was like, "Oh yeah, she likes going to go to the gym and training. Can you give us some advice?" So my mom's like, "I'm gonna." He's not doing anything. He's in his room. He's not getting. He's got to get out there and do anything. So I went out with this girl, and I was like, "Oh, so you want to do?" I just spoke to her about the gym because that's all I thought, So it wasn't until I was like 38, right, that I finally managed to talk to someone properly. I think.
Wait, well, I'll throw one. My first girlfriend I ever had. Ready for this? Megan Murray in 5th grade. I saw her for the whole year. We must have talked to each other 3 or 4 times. And we said to each other, because you're always so nervous to see each other. We said we would stay with each other forever, even if we moved. She ended up moving. I'm still going out with her till this day, and I don't think I see her. And that's a true story. We've never broken up.
It's funny. Oh my God.
Since I was in 5th grade, I saw her. Megan Murray.
Oh, that's funny. I wanted, before you guys leave it, there was 2 questions I wanted to ask. Sure. Steve, just who, because I've been following him on Instagram, and he seems to be from the West Coast. Who is Rob from the man behind the red hood? Who is he? Is he a former torpedo guy or something like that? I see by the look in your face, I don't know the guy, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know him very, 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 very well.
Okay.
He used to work for Torpedo.
Yeah.
I'm the one that made him an Overstreet advisor.
Gotcha.
And I'm not going to get into details.
Yeah, okay.
But there's me and him and a girl.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I detest him with a passion, and John asked me not to beat the fuck out of him.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
So that's what I deal with him.
Yeah.
It's very awkward because he still does business with John. And so he'll come into the warehouse.
Yeah.
He'll be talking and doing business. I'll be standing there, and he doesn't exist to me.
Who's this guy? His
name is Rob Isaac, and he runs Red Hood.
His name is Rob.
Rob Isaac.
Yeah, and he's pretty. He's got a decent Instagram presence, and he's got big books, man. He shows off big stuff. I don't know, who he is, but he's very, very opinionated, and
he had a lot of investors when he started up because he's got the gift of the gab, and he's very smart. Okay,
right,
but he also got a nice gift from his grandmother. She gave him a whole house from California.
Oh, gotcha.
So I think he was able to sell that house for, I don't know, 400, 500K. And since then, but just to let you know, this is a guy that drove off into the desert with a gun in his mouth.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, so I was there, and I was the one that talked him down. I should have just let him do it.
Really? Yeah, I don't know. Again, not somebody that I communicate with. Like sometimes I follow him, I unfollow him because he's just too opinionated for me, and the energy he brings isn't something that I
very negative.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's
very, very negative.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with him. You guys would have to make up your own mind.
No, I agree with you. And again, he's not somebody, like I said, I will probably never meet the guy in my life or whatever, but he does, the stuff he shows. I'm like, how does this guy know? Like, I don't know. You just wonder where all these things come from. And
all that stuff that he knows about, like the silver and bronze, is what I taught him.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Oh, my God. All right. Good. All right. And then, John, when is the Roy Thomas signing in CGC? When is that? Is that August?
Yeah, it's on my birthday. They want to do it on my birthday, August 20. But my birthday's the 25th, but we're going to do it 26th and 27th. So it's going to be a big. John Bolajak's coming down, and we're going to have a big John Cimino party at CGC. Steve, awesome. I'd love to see you, but you got to work.
Yes, unfortunately, I do.
But I'll be with you the month before at Torpedo, so that's good. As long as I get to see you and all that.
I'll definitely see you there.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Good talk. Steve, I'm gonna message you. I know John's got a 3-men t-shirt. I want to send you one of our 3-men t-shirts.
Okay.
Do you fit in large, or are you a double X?
2X, please.
I'll get you a 2X. Okay.
And Otto, I'll send you the blurb tonight.
Yep.
I'll send it to your email. And Steve, remember, guys, May 1st, we got the next week off. May 1st at 6:00.
Yep, gotcha.
Okay.
Steve, Sounds good. Steve, you come up with the issue. That's gonna be your solo.
May 1st.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, we'll make it happen. Great seeing you guys. Nice talk.
All right, guys.
All right, later. Bye.